the lovely and talented Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics there. Hey, good morning. This is the Early Morning Show. I appreciate you being here. We're at 8:42 now.
Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation.
Your particular situation looks kind of interesting right now because the markets have no idea which way they're going. Time to check in and find out what's going on Wall Street with the help from Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Philip, good morning. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Dave. I'm doing pretty well. It is, but the markets just can't quite decide what they want to do. We got some up,
kind of a
some
wild
down
ride
today.
yesterday. It was a wild ride yesterday. I mean, there was like an 800-point swing on the Dow during the day, and your point's taken. We don't know what we're doing, do we?
It looks that way. I mean, I'm looking at what the markets closed at yesterday, and well, we had more up indexes than down indexes, and well, the Dow wasn't down much, $17. I mean, that wasn't even a tenth of a percent. So yeah, that wasn't bad. And everything else, though, Dave, was in pretty good territory. The big winner, though, is the Russell, up almost 1% yesterday, closed at $2,520.
I think part of that might have been, well, Russell being up is the indication that the techs are driving the market still, like I said. But I was looking at the recovery on the major indexes and thinking, well, okay, nobody said anything important in China or about China yesterday, so it was relatively predictable. That's the way the morning started, and then we just started selling all the way through the day. About the time the Federal Reserve's beige book came out at 2, we were below the flat line, and then just suddenly rose back up again. And the data coming out of the Federal Reserve that they're pretty well stuck using for a meeting in a couple of weeks, they all gave more indication that Jay Powell's dovish attitude toward interest rates might very well stick for the entire Fed, because indications are the employment market is softening. Big surprise there. Nothing new on that except for the fact that the beige book gives more reason to look at more interest rate cuts 2 weeks from now. I wonder if it's going to change the odds of a half-point cut.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I always stand on the notion that, remember that the economic measurements that they take and the economic decisions they make on interest rate cuts are one thing, but what the larger size cuts communicate is almost more important. And I really don't think a half-point cut would communicate what the Fed would want to communicate to the markets, especially given the fact that we've got a little bit of travails going on with the little government shutdown thing we're worried about too, right?
Well, that, and they still have one more meeting, right? I mean, they have this meeting, but they still have one more after this. So that gives them some latitude. They could do a quarter and a quarter, still get their half a point in before the end of the year, but not telegraph that they think there's some issues.
And that would be my concern, the telegraphing more than the actual economic decision-making that they're making. But it was a roller coaster ride yesterday. That's for doggone sure. Speaking of the shutdown, it's got my fear and greed index bordering now, getting close to extreme fear. They set an all-time record for call options on Friday. We had a big sell-off on Friday. Over 100 million call options, most of them selling the dip based from amateurs instead of from the pros. It wasn't the pros that were doing this. It was the amateurs that got adventurous and started buying options, and they got scared and sold the market down even further than it already was. I think we're starting to run the amateurs out of the market. That FOMO figure that you always refer to, I think we just ended up having some chickens come home to roost. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to say yet, Dave, because we bounced back for the most part yesterday, and and today is looking pretty green as well. So I'm not sure. Maybe we shook some of them out, but maybe the rest of them are going to stay and just take some protection through the options market.
Now, I got to believe that a lot of them, the ones that didn't get out, are taking an awful lot of Rolaids and Tums right now with roller coasters like we had yesterday, right? Just to increase the sale of Rolaids and Tums among the amateurs, I've got one columnist that said that he's increasing the odds that the government shutdown could last all the way into November. That would mean the government employees would actually miss at least 2 and maybe 3 hard paychecks. The electronic funds transfer date for the first payroll that they actually missed was last Friday. The checks themselves, for people that got hard copy checks out of the government, was yesterday. Next one will be on the 24th for EFTs and the 29th for hard copy checks. I don't think anybody looks forward to missing 2 full federal payrolls, do you?
No, that's going to start to put some pressure. And actually, Besant actually warned yesterday, economy could bleed billions. I'm sorry, not millions, billions, as the government shutdown cuts Americans' muscle. It's kind of cutting their legs out from underneath them, not getting a paycheck from the government. You think about all the people that is, and what keeps our economy going, Dave? Spending money. And those
Absolutely.
people don't have any money to spend.
And you
So
take
what's going to happen?
take 750,000 or 1 million employees and say, guess what? Either you're not working, you're laid off, but one way or the other, you aren't going to get paychecks. That becomes a measurable sized impact on the GDP. Somebody was saying like 0.15% on the GDP for every day or week that the government shutdown continues. I mean, keep in mind who the biggest employer in the country is. It's not Walmart, it's the federal government.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is definitely, now we're 16 days in. It's one payroll through, and we managed to pay the military, but I don't know, can they do that again? Do they have the funds to do it one more time? That's a big question mark.
Hmm.
And how long is this thing going to drive on? I mean, come on, guys, we got to get our heads together here. And I mean, I understand some of the Democrats' position, but they need to kick some of their stuff out in order for the Republicans to be able to come in and negotiate and make a deal, because they're not going to take 100% of what the Democrats want to do right now.
Absolutely. I've been talking about this, especially when I've been solo while you were out. There's 2 different measures the Democrats are insisting on. One of them, I suspect the Republicans would probably do because it's in their political interest to keep people happy at least through the midterm elections, and that's the Obamacare exchange tax credits that reduce premiums out of pocket. But the other one is a Medicaid expansion that's kind of a poison pill to a lot of the hardliners on the Republican side of the fence. And somewhere down the line, one of those 2 has got to get a focus group that says the public's blaming you, and they got to get back to the table, because right now they aren't even talking. They're just taking the same vote over and over again. It keeps failing. Nobody's moving, and both of them seem to be hardening their positions. And it's why I don't like either party at this point in time. And I suspect more people are moving to my point of view the longer this stuff goes on.
Well, I saw, and I don't know who did the survey, but I saw some survey numbers. I think it was yesterday, and it
Hmm.
was like 39% of the people blame the Republicans, 36% of the people blame the Democrats, and 20% of the people blame everybody.
I'm in the 20.
Yeah, me too.
I think they're both full of hooey. Talking about earnings reports, because there's nothing out of the government. We are promised a CPI reading this month, one way or the other. Then they start considering that vital, because that's going to determine the Social Security cost of living increase for next year. But the rest of the government is giving us nothing. On the other hand, it's earnings season, and we've got a few financials that are still reporting. What's that broker on the Schwab ads always ends up the ad Schwab? Did they do okay?
Schwab did do okay this last quarter. They beat their estimates by 10 cents a share, came in at $1.31. Revenue was about 100 million more than expected. So some good news there. They saw total client assets increase by about 17% year over year. And so they're getting a nice little boost today, up 3.1%.
Cool.
Yeah. So another one that we have is, I didn't mention this one to you, Travelers, big insurance company.
Yeah.
They are had a mixed third quarter results. It looks like they beat on earnings substantially. I mean, they came in at $8.14 versus $6.35, so huge beat. But their revenue was about almost a $500 million less than expected. And so that's got Travelers trading down about 4.1% this morning.
Gosh, I'll bet you there's a premium increase coming through for Travelers Insurance. What do you think?
That could very well be. It's looking that
I
way for
can
sure.
I can do arithmetic. I can figure that junk out.
Then we had JB Hunt, big trucking company, hauls your stuff from port to distribution centers. So they, they had a good quarter as well. They beat by 30 cents a share, came in at $1.76. Revenue was basically in line, up just a tad about more than what was expected. And so they're trading up huge this morning, Dave. They're up almost 14% this morning.
Wow, a transportation stock doing well.
Yeah, not
We
sure.
haven't had a lot of those lately.
No, not sure what's going on there. I mean, what else was in their report, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
they beat, but it wasn't significant. So there must be something else in there that catching everybody's attention. Um, so United Airlines, they they kind of missed some of their third quarter numbers. They missed in revenue. They did beat on earnings, but that's got them. Well, they're basically even right now. They were down about a 1% earlier this morning.
All right. Got time for one
The
more.
Well, let's look and see what do we have here that might be of interest to people. Taiwan Semiconductor came out. I don't have all the numbers. I know their profit surged like 39% from a year ago, and that they are making some noise in the AI market. Continue to have some positivity on them. They're up about 2.3% this morning.
I just had something come across my ticker. Nestle. We don't have the report per se, but they got their single biggest one-day share surge since 2008 after they announced an earning beat and unfortunately some layoffs as well. Mixed bag yesterday midday, but we ended up net positive, which is a little drop on the Dow. How we doing 45 minutes early this morning, Philip?
Still got quite a bit of green ink, Dave. The Dow's up 1/3%. The S&P 500 is up a 0.5%. The Nasdaq 100 is up almost 0.75%. And the Russell's right there too, up about 0.5%. On the other side, oh man, silver is jumping, buddy. Up 1.4% over $52 right now to $52.08 an ounce. Gold's up another 1.2%. That's $4,252 an ounce. Crude oil is up 0.5%, but down from yesterday, $58.54 a barrel right now.
Ooh, let's just keep going down. I like that number. Looking across the ponds, the Asian Rim market was an interesting mix. The mainland Chinese markets, on balance, were off. They're still nervous over there. Almost everybody else is up. South Korea was up by 2.5%. Japan up by 1.25%. On balance, the Asian Rim wasn't bad. Europe is kind of looking at us and saying, well, they're not talking about European trade. We're happy, so they're generally up. Average European index is up by about 0.5% halfway through their trading day today. Getting my retirement together counts for a lot. Getting together with you can help my retirement plan count. How do I find you for that duty, Philip?
Then give us a call at 863-382-0037 for a 30-minute phone call where we'll make sure that they're on the right path to the retirement they always dreamed of. If not, we'll give them some suggestions, maybe some areas we may be able to help them, but definitely worth a 30-minute phone call to answer questions they may have. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And one more time for the week, tie the ribbons on it tomorrow morning at this time right here on Light. Philip, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. It's 105.7 Light FM, Statler and Statler Financial Services. Philip Statler.
Hey, folks, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope things are going well for you. Join Dave and I again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great day. Bye now.